So the mics have been off for a minute. But you gotta know that Movies-aRe-USS is gonna show up when it counts. And this is the summer blockbuster. The movie that shut down my AMC app 2 months ago when I was just trying to go see a scary movie. And my app was shut down because people wanted tickets to this film. With that being said, welcome to Movies-aRe-USS, a satire movie podcast that acknowledges life imitates art and art imitates life. So movies are the story of human and nowadays AI experience. So grab your popcorn and let's talk about Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. Personally, I think he wrote a great essay in high school. I think that's where the movie, that's what I can enjoy about the movie. That's what I think the movie is great, right? I don't know that I was as hyped as everybody else was for it, but I went and saw it. I didn't have a bad time. I didn't. And I want to start off with the fact that because of the hype, because of everything, I put this movie in the best position to succeed with me. And I feel like it showed up. Did it show out? We'll dive into that. But it definitely showed up. I gave this movie every leg up. It was 3 hours long. I went and saw it at 4:30. No going to sleep. With a can of Red Bull in my pocket. The theaters are packed out. You know what? This time, I'll sit in the middle, right in the mix with the best sound, middle front or middle in the row, middle back up the aisle, right? That's the best viewing perspective of the movie. That's a known thing, right? Okay, cool. I even saw it in 70 millimeter. Now, they say it's 70 millimeter IMAX on my theater. I don't think it's IMAX. I do think it's just 70 millimeter, but it is a decent sized screen, but I don't think it's 70 millimeter IMAX. Shout out to 70 millimeter. I do enjoy the part where you can tell it's not digital because it makes it feel like you're not just watching a DVD at home, you know, or something on Netflix, right? So the 70 millimeter, the film, the color on the movie, great. Loved it. And let me tell you my key takeaways from this 3-hour epic. I think Chris Nolan wrote a great essay on the Odyssey in high school. I think that's the shining moment. It is derived work. And me personally, just giving Chris Nolan's discography, Tenet, Interstellar, Oppenheimer, Memento, The Prestige, right? Batman The Dark Knight. A lot of those ideas, had to throw that in there, my bad for anybody who thought I forgot it. A lot of those ideas, to me, in my experience with them, meaning whether they were written from somewhere, taken from somewhere, books or anything else, I wasn't aware when I watched the movie, right? And I think that's something I enjoy about Chris Nolan is that he's bringing you into his world. And something I always get a little worried about when directors who are great at building their own worlds try to adapt a world or adopt a world. Sometimes it's like, okay, like, is it gonna feel like Chris Nolan though? I will say this movie did feel like Chris Nolan, but it didn't feel like Chris Nolan because of what was happening. If you read your reading assignments in high school, you know exactly the plot of this movie. There are no plot twists. There is nothing different than the experience you got if you did your homework, okay? But the thing that I enjoyed about the different experience of the work is that there was a deeper question as to the humanity of the characters. And that was an enjoyable part of the movie. These people sitting in English class or watching the play in your high school theater or wherever you might have experienced this, I don't think anybody's ever gotten these questions asked about these actions of this great story and history of all these things. And the concepts are there, but I don't think we've ever asked the questions the way Chris Nolan showed and asked the question. And that's what makes this movie great. Chris Nolan makes this movie great. I don't know that the Odyssey is any better of a story than it's ever been. Like, we're talking about a derived work for me, and everybody loves the movie. I love the movie, right? But everybody's touting the movie. I don't know that I'll tout the movie like that. But I do think it's a good movie. I do think it's a good watch for that human question that gets asked. Now, if you're aware of, like I've said, Chris Nolan's discography, this isn't the first time he's asked this question. Actually, his last movie asked the same question, right? Oppenheimer has the same ending notes of a question about humanity, a question about right and wrong, a question of what have we done, that he now is transferred over and adapted to the Odyssey to give it more heart to me than it probably has ever received. And so, if you got 3 hours, you do have to have 3 hours. That's a half a work day, everybody. If you got 3 hours, it's worth seeing. But more importantly, if you haven't seen Oppenheimer, please go see Oppenheimer. Please watch it on, I think it's on Peacock, HBO Max, rent it, wherever it is. Sit down and give Oppenheimer a watch. Now, I would wait till after you see the Odyssey to do that, or you might feel like the hook of the Odyssey doesn't catch you as much. But if you've seen the Odyssey and haven't seen Oppenheimer, please go watch Oppenheimer, because I think it's another way that Chris Nolan questions humanity about its actions. And I think that's the shining part of the Odyssey. Another shining part of this movie is that boy Matt Damon. That boy Matt Damon shines and puts on an acting powerhouse performance. I personally think as his discography continues to grow, mind you, he was in Oppenheimer as well, right? But as his discography continues to grow, me personally, I think he's the strongest amongst the actors he rose to fame with. I'm talking Ben Affleck. I'm talking Mark Wahlberg. I'm talking Leonardo DiCaprio. A lot of the people that were considered, hey, these are the actors of a generation. I think Matt Damon, the Odyssey, his performance in the Odyssey, his discography overall continues to show that although he was actually early on doubted in his career, time and time again, he's here to give us the performances we need. Matt Damon shines in this movie. And a lot of actors do. Anne Hathaway shines in this movie. The Meryl Streep's understudy, and I'm always going back and forth between her and Emily Blunt, but they're 1 and 2 for me. But Anne Hathaway turns up in this movie. Robert Pattinson's character and Robert Pattinson's skill as he has acted more than he has ever before, in my opinion, with 4 movies coming out this year across a array of IPs and personal projects, like his movie about Chris Hansen coming out later this year. I think he has grown so much from what made him famous. And that's important to see in an actor, right? That's what you want to see that. Yes, you might go get your money from this experience. You might do 3-4 movies over here. But is that all you were? And if Odyssey hasn't answered this, if the drama doesn't answer this, if Dune Part 3 doesn't answer this, if he is answering the question that he is more than Twilight. His acting has always been more than Twilight. Now, I'm going to get my bag. He's going to get his bag. But it's been more, and it will forever be more than the thing that made him famous. Not much in the movie. I thought he'd be a little bit more in the movie, but as always, just a great performer. I appreciate people who are great supporting actors, and I think Jon Bernthal is one of those. I don't know that I feel like I've seen a lot of Jon Bernthal-led movies, but anytime I see him on screen, anytime he's acting with other people, younger or older, more famous or less famous, I always see him give a lot to the role, give a lot to the experience, and really be a shining pillar in creating the experience and showing up and making you fall in love with his character or hate his character, depending on what he's doing in any movie he's in. So, Jon Bernthal. Zendaya. Now, mind you, Zendaya was only in the movie maybe 10 minutes. I ain't gonna lie to you. And more importantly, Zendaya is only in the movie ever acting against Matt Damon. Meaning, there are no scenes that Zendaya is acting independently of Matt Damon in this movie. And for me, that was great to see her do because she didn't look afraid. She didn't look slouchy. She didn't look like she ain't think she belonged. Against someone like Matt Damon, against a name like Matt Damon, that she felt confident and she felt, and she was a powerhouse in her own way. There's only one person in this movie, I feel like personally, was playing junior varsity ball while everybody else was playing NFL ball. I ain't gonna lie to you, pro leagues. And that's Tom Holland, man. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man as much as the next guy. But there's no moment, and I was hoping to see it because Spider-Man is cool, but Spider-Man is Spider-Man. A lot of people could play Spider-Man, right? Like, that's not showing me your acting skill beyond an IP like Spider-Man, okay? And so I was hoping to see something special in this movie. I was hoping this would be the movie I saw Tom Holland turn up. Because like I said, Anne Hathaway turned up, Matt Damon turned up, Robert Pattinson turned up, John Bernthal turned up, Zendaya turned up, John Leguizamo, and I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong, turned up. But there's no moment where I felt like his acting really pushed the screen forward, really dove into those depths like these other characters did and these other actors did. And I was kind of disappointed to see that. I was hoping to see a stronger performance from Tom, personally. Not bad. I'll never say he's a bad actor. I don't think he's just horrible. But he never pushes the limits to me. He never goes there. And I would like to see him do that. The soundtrack was amazing. Ludwig, as always, kills it and performs well. And I think that's what I'm saying about this movie, right? Like, Chris Nolan knows how to make a good movie. Like, we're never going, you might not prefer a Chris Nolan movie, but I don't think you can say any Chris Nolan movie is truly just bad. Now, will I say this is top 5 in his discography? No, I won't. Well, I say this is top 7 in his discography. I think that's an argument. But is it a good movie? Is it another good movie for his discography? For sure it is. For sure it is. One thing I like that he did specifically in this movie was the spiritual aspects of the movie. As you're dealing with Greek gods and these people who believe in these higher powers, I think he has some great conversations about the experiences of having a higher power. The transmutation of an experience and the questions getting asked about the understandings humans have or the questions we may have and the way we try to reason out what we do or don't understand coming from our higher power, right? And so that was another aspect of the movie that I really thought was a good experience or a good conversation piece that he brought to the film. Well, we're at the bottom of the bucket where there's nothing left but the kernels. Hop down below and let me know if you enjoyed the Odyssey. Is this your favorite Chris Nolan film? What did you think about Matt Damon? How was Robert Pattinson? Am I hating on Tom Holland? Answer. Let me know. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like and share and leave a comment.